Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Articulated Review. On this episode, we're going to be reviewing the Joker, specifically the 6th scale Arkham Asylum Hot Toys video game masterpiece series Joker. So a little backstory on the Joker, I'm sure most of you probably already know. He was originally conceived by Bob Kane, Bill Finger, and Jerry Robinson. And his premiere to the world was on April 25th, 1940 in the Batman comics. He was originally actually supposed to be a one-off villain that in the end would be either killed or hauled off to prison, never to be seen from again, because in the original Batman comics, most of the villains he fought were gangsters, mafia types, and so once he captured them, they would just go off to prison and you would never see them again. So what ended up happening was the editors liked the character so much, he ended up being saved from being killed. They had to rewrite the ending, and he became a permanent fixture as Batman's arch enemy, mainly because he is the antithesis of everything Batman is. He's unhinged, he's crazy, he's not methodical. Anyway, that's just a little brief bit about that. Throughout the years, he's been portrayed in TV and film by several different actors. Of course, you know, in the 60s, in the Adam West television series, he was portrayed by Cesar Romero, who kind of played him as a campy, cartoonish, more circus clown-like character. Then we fast forward 30 years, and he's in the '89 Batman movie with Michael Keaton, portrayed by Jack Nicholson, which is what, you know, my generation grew up on, was, you know, Tim Burton's 2 Batman movies. We try to erase from our memory the Joel Schumacher films that were terrible. Bat nipples. And then, of course, the animated series with Kevin Conroy voicing Batman and Mark Hamill, otherwise known as Luke Skywalker, voicing the Joker, who I feel like is, anytime I read the comic book now or read a graphic novel, the voice I read for the Joker is Mark Hamill as the Joker. He was just kind of the definitive voice of the Joker. Even as good a job as Heath Ledger did in the Nolan trilogy in the Dark Knight movie. Just a different style of Joker, more of a kind of creepy Hannibal Lecter serial killer type Joker, which is kind of more of the Joker from the graphic novels that were more geared towards adults, but it's still just the voice I hear in my head is Mark Hamill. And of course, Mark Hamill returned to voice the Joker in the Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight games. He didn't actually voice the Joker in the Arkham Origins games. So anyway, let's get this figure out of the box. Okay, and so here we go with the box. Pretty simple box art. I don't even know that anybody at Hot Toys actually did much really in the way of design work on creating this. This, I think, is just an image of what the Joker looked like in the video game. I mean, that meaning to say that this is just a shot of him from the game, because it kind of has a digital look to it if you look at it really up close. The side of the box is kind of smooth. This side's got more of a texture to it. All the little ha-ha-ha's that are kind of just impressioned on the box are kind of raised and embossed feeling. Of course, it says video game masterpiece, which is kind of a new thing for Hot Toys. I think outside of this, the only other video game masterpiece figures they've done, other than Arkham Knight Batman, Arkham Knight, was the Arkham City Batman that they did several years back. I don't really know of any other video game characters they've done. The back, standard Hot Toys, boilerplate, all in Japanese, so I guess if you're Japanese you can read that. I can't read it. Nice image of the Joker. I will say that I'm sure most of you have seen this Joker figure already. Once we get into the unboxing, I will say I'll go ahead and say before I show him that I'm a little disappointed that he doesn't look more like this. The more dingy, dirty clothing, the kind of more evil and sinister look on his face here, and when I get the figure in the box out, you'll see what I mean. This is kind of a hybrid design box that Hot Toys has done. They've done this on a couple of other figures as well, where it does still have the gatefold style like this with a little bit of information here, but then it's, you know, this blister plastic, kind of like a standard action figure would come in if you were just to buy it, you know, like at the store, at the toy store. It's just, I don't know, I still like foam. I like foam inserts. To me, that just represents quality. The plastic just, to me, seems cheap. But anyway, let's go ahead and get all this out of the box. So I will say that, I mean, he does, you know, come with a fair amount of accessories, about as much as you would expect for the price tag and coming from Hot Toys. Yeah. I mean, it's a good figure. I'm not gonna complain too much. Oh yeah, let's talk about this. These Hot Toys, this is worthless. I am not gonna pose my figure with this piece of cardboard crap behind it. Stop making these. Try to give you a little bit of a close-up here on the face because we'll discuss that first. See that face? Just not very menacing. Just kind of passive. He's just kind of standing there. I mean, he's got the eyes kind of turned up, so I guess if you wanted to, you could tilt his head down. And if you've got some lighting, you know, the way you want it, I think it's gonna take the right kind of lighting when you display him to make this face look a little more menacing. He just looks just very kind of just, I don't know, I'm not big on the face. As you can see from the clothing, except for the blood stains and a little bit of dinginess on the vest, the rest of the clothing is extremely clean. Extremely clean. I do like the contrast of the, you know, this kind of leather work here and the little leather strap back here. And then you've got, you know, this cloth material, and then it's kind of like a velvet material here around the cuffs of the coat. And then this little patch here on the pants. The shoes are really cool. You know, they're just plastic. They're not material, cloth material or leather-like material shoes. They're just hard plastic feet. You got these nice little sleeves here that kind of poof out and come around the gloves. His nice little green bow tie, and you got his little flower that I guess, I don't know if this particular Joker in the game, I don't remember this ever like squirting the Joker, the toxin or whatever, but there's that little flower there. So overall, I mean, obviously you guys who collect know that we've seen more impressive Joker figures than this. I will say for Hot Toys, I guess they've had to kind of do their own body for this because he's a very thin, I mean the leg, I mean like down here, the ankles are extremely thin. So it's a very skinny body that they've gone with. Of course, he is very lanky and skinny in the game. Nice little bit of detail there. They've got the little jester head belt buckle, and then of course you do have the little chain where his little pocket watch is, but there's not an actual pocket watch in there. The chain just goes from there to and attaches down inside the pocket. It looks like the coat is attached to the vest. It looks like it might be some type of little snap buttons where you could undo this if you wanted to. I'm not going to try to because I could be wrong. He has a good range of movement, about as much as you would need for him to have. I will say that because of this material up here in the shoulders, there is a little bit of limitation there because it bunches up and it just looks bad. So you can't get, you know, I guess, you know, if you're wearing a sport coat like this or a suit coat, whatever you want to call this, a waistcoat, in real life, you know, with a shirt and then with a vest and with this, you probably would have limited range, and it probably would bunch up like that in real life too. So, I mean, you know, I mean, he can't get his arm all the way straight. He just can't get it, you know, up above his head really. It does limit you a bit on some of the posability there. But all in all, I mean, it's a good figure. The head sculpt's really good. The hair looks really good. I like that they added this nice little touch with this one little piece that kind of flops down. I will say that is the only head sculpt that it comes with. You know, again, I'm not going to complain because of the price tag. I would have been willing to pay more if they would have paid a little bit more time and attention to the clothing to make it look more dingy and how it did in the game. And if we would have had an option of having a head sculpt where he was laughing maniacally, you know, or if they at least got a head sculpt where it was the Joker who was post having been injected with the Titan toxin. So he's kind of sick and he's kind of got that sickly look to his face. Because then it kind of would have straddled the bridge between Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. But, you know, again, for the price tag, it is a very, very decent figure. And at the very least, the clothing and the detail is the quality you would come to expect from Hot Toys. They didn't skimp there. Other than that, the other accessories you come with, besides the open hand gesture hands, is you come with two, essentially the same almost. This is obviously a gun holding hand. This hand's probably more for holding I'm not entirely sure. Kind of got two fingers there, separate. I don't, maybe for holding the hypno glasses that you can put on him. I don't know. Then of course you have two closed fist hands, which is pretty standard. Most any 6-scale figure you get is always going to have a pair of closed fist hands. You get these nice, what I like is this little piece right here, little dynamite, the little wind up chomping teeth holding the dynamite. You do get handcuffs, so you can have him in handcuffs, like at the beginning of the game when Batman brings him into Arkham. He's got the handcuffs on. These, I thought these would actually push all the way through, like real handcuffs, they'd push all the way through and loop back around. They actually just unclip like that, and that's it. And then of course he comes with his nice hypno glasses that he wears. They just kind of straddle his head like that. Don't think I will actually be keeping those on him. I don't, they're a neat little accessory, but not something I'm actually gonna pose him wearing. And then of course you have his big gun, and it is, oh, the little hammer actually does come back. I don't know that it does anything else. I don't think it opens up or anything like that. The barrel in it doesn't turn. It looks to be like the only articulation on it is just the hammer. Not the most detailed weapon we've seen from Hot Toys, but again, what else do you really need this gun to do? And then of course you've got the Joker toxin gun. I like how they've got this, you know, green clear back here, encased inside this, so it, you know, it looks like it's actually holding the toxin in there. And then it comes with these little darts, and these are extremely tiny. So there is a good bit of detail there. So you have these little tiny, teeny tiny Joker toxin darts. As you can see, they've got, you know, the clear green in them there. And I guess you can actually load these inside the, yeah, you can put it down in there where it's actually pointing out. It comes with 3, so I'm guessing you could have him holding, maybe he can hold him in this hand. It's really tiny. I'd be worried about it getting lost. Again, that's probably another part that I will never use for any type of pose. So that's really all that he comes with. And of course you get this nice little stand back here, and it says, you know, I'll go ahead and show you that. It says, you know, Batman, Arkham Asylum, and then on the nice little metal plate here you have the Joker. So not really big on the graphics printed on here. I don't care about that, but I do like the little nameplate there. That does look really good. So I'm happy with that. I probably will display him with this base just because it has that nice little descriptive nameplate there. In case you don't know who he is, you got the nameplate to tell you who he is. He's the Joker. So this is the figure in its entirety out of the box, and you know, it's a good figure. You get from Hot Toys basically what you pay for the most part. There are the few small issues that I talked about that I have with it, but overall it's a great figure. And like I said, if you love the Joker, you love the video game, you collect 6-scale figures, this is definitely worth the money for picking it up.
Hey there kiddies, Joker here. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, visit the Twitter and Patreon pages as well. Extra goodies for those that subscribe to the Patreon page. Links in description. Until next time.
Bat nipples.